Welcome. We've all been there. You've got a mountain of data, some really brilliant analysis, and then nothing. The project just hits a wall, and all that hard work never turns into actual results. In this explainer, we're going to walk through a proven framework to build that bridge, making sure your analysis leads directly to action. And this really gets to the heart of the issue. As partner Emily Yuck points out here, we often stop short. We do all the analysis, but we totally forget to plan for the implementation. It's that final piece of the puzzle, thinking about how you're actually going to roll something out that turns a good idea into a great outcome. So that's the million-dollar question, right? How do we escape that dreaded analysis paralysis and make sure our work actually makes an impact? Well, the good news is there is a structured way to do this. There's a reliable framework that can guide you all the way from thinking to doing. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the analysis action gap. Then we'll lay out a framework for execution. We'll dive into how you plan your analysis, look at how to get from data to real insight, and then wrap up with how to develop recommendations you can actually act on. All right, let's start with section 1, the analysis action gap. This is that super frustrating place where all of the analysis is done, the charts look great, but the momentum just completely fizzles out. So why does this happen so often? Well, it's often because the early parts of problem solving, defining and structuring the problem, that's the exciting part. But the real value, the thing that makes a difference, is created in these final stages. Without a disciplined process to get you to the finish line, even the best analysis can just end up as a report gathering dust on a server somewhere. So how do we push through that? That brings us to section 2, a framework for execution. We're going to focus on the last 4 steps of a proven problem-solving method, and it's all about moving from planning to a final, concrete recommendation. These are the 4 steps that matter right here. First, you plan the specific work you need to do. Then, you actually do the analysis. After that, and this is so important, you synthesize your findings to figure out what it all means. And from there, you develop a clear, actionable recommendation. Let's dive a little deeper into section 3, planning your analysis. This is where you take your issue tree, which is just a fancy way of saying a diagram that breaks a big problem into smaller pieces, and you turn it into a real work plan with clear tasks, owners, and of course, timelines. And as partner Ingrid says, this link is absolutely vital. Your work plan can't just come out of nowhere. It has to flow directly from the questions and hypotheses you came up with when you first broke the problem down. That way, you know every single piece of work you're doing has a purpose. And a tool like this worksheet is just incredibly useful for making that happen. For each issue, you write down your hypothesis. Then, and this is the part I love, you define the end product. So what will the output look like? A specific chart, a table? This forces you to think about what you need before you do the work. And then finally, you list the exact analysis you have to do to get there. Okay, so you've done the analysis. Now we're at section 4, from data to insight. A really common mistake here is to just stop at summarizing the data. But to create any real value, we have to move on to synthesis. And honestly, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Synthesis isn't just a list of what you did, it's a powerful statement about what it all means. It is the so what. It's the big insight. This comparison just lays it out perfectly. A summary is just recounting the facts. We found A, then we found B, then we found C. A synthesis, on the other hand, gives you a perspective. Because of A, B, and C, our biggest opportunity is D. It's really the difference between being an analyst and being a strategist. All right, now for our final section. Let's make all of this real with an example. We're going to follow a team at a fictional company we'll call SodaComp and see how they develop a really powerful recommendation. Okay, so here's the problem. It's a clear, measurable goal with a deadline. The team needs to figure out how to hit this pretty ambitious target in just a few months. So, the team has already done some of that upfront work, structuring the problem and prioritizing. They've decided that product innovation is the key, and they formed a specific hypothesis to test, that making one of their existing products healthier is the best way forward. So, they go off, they do their analysis, and they come back with 3 key findings. Number 1, consumers are actively trying to avoid sugar. Number 2, there's this big untapped market of health-conscious people. And 3, their competitors don't have a good, low-cost, healthy citrus soda. See, right now, this is just a summary. 3 interesting but separate facts. And here is the synthesis. This is the magic. By combining those 3 separate facts, the team gets to a single powerful insight. A new low-sugar, low-cost orange soda is perfectly positioned to grab those health-conscious consumers and stand out from the competition. That is the so what that leads directly to a clear recommendation. And in the end, as you're developing that final recommendation, this quote should be your North Star. A brilliant strategy that can't be executed is, well, it's pretty much useless. The goal is always to create a recommendation that is simple, practical, and something the organization can actually go out and do. So we'll leave you with this question to take back to your own work. How can you and your team shift your focus from just summarizing what you found to really synthesizing it into action? Because pushing for that powerful so what, that's the key to turning great analysis into real results.